And that good morning is just for you as we get ready to tell you about managing those pennies. We've got one of the experts in our island to share with you each Monday here on Morning Barbados. So we hope that this information has been helpful to you through the year and you can take it into 2021. So we're trying to help you navigate those situations. As Shane was saying earlier, people seem to be being a little more or a lot more cautious. Perhaps some people just don't feel they have it to spend this time of year. But Crystal Howell is here. She is a chartered professional accountant, certified internal auditor, so she can definitely guide us in the right direction. We've been focusing on businesses and how to keep things on the straight and narrow. And we've also been looking at things spending from a personal perspective. Good morning, Crystal. Happy Monday.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing?
Pretty
Well,
good,
thanks.
Crystal.
I'm very happy that we're going to be moving from spelling to math because I don't know if spelling is my strong suit. So
Oh boy,
we're going to
math
be
isn't
going
mine.
into yes, we're going into some maths today. I've been hearing some numbers in terms of unemployment, but I'm hoping the next time we discuss unemployment, we also talk about how many new businesses would have been registered in Barbados and whether that has increased or if it's anything close to see if persons have decided instead of going back into formal employment, if they've decided to start their own businesses. And of course, we're here to try to help you to manage that as best you can because the major complaint that I hear from many persons involved in small businesses, even if they're making money, they're not exactly sure where the money is going. And we want to make sure, definitely going into 2021, that your businesses thrive and you know exactly how much is coming in, how much is going out, and you're able to make better decisions because we want Barbados to be able to rebound and to do well and to thrive even after all of these tough times. So hopefully these tips have been helping you to do exactly that.
Indeed.
Indeed.
As we get those businesses ready, Crystal, for 2021, because that's what everyone is looking forward to. Ending the year strong, even though
Yes.
shopping has, uh, there's been some, what can you say, double-digit decline in what businesses are seeing shopping. A lot of people are now choosing to go online to cut out some of the costs. A lot of people are doing things, whatever they can. I'm talking about the entrepreneurs that you're speaking about to cut costs.
Mhm.
So help us go into 2021 in a stronger position to respond, especially when we are surrounded by COVID.
I especially want persons to remember that no matter how poor December may be, you have to bear in mind that January is usually a much more difficult month. So even if you see some money coming in for this month, make sure you bear that in mind. And what we're going to be doing today, it may seem a little bit technical, but I wanted to make sure that if you're having these discussions with your accountants or your finance person or even a friend who is good in these areas, that you're not lost, that you at least have a basic understanding as to what they're discussing and that you're not the novice in discussion. Because if you at least understand them, even if you don't know exactly how to work them out, but you understand what they mean, it can help you to make better decisions as to where you would like to take your business. So, what we'll be looking at today is some key ratios that will help to make or break your business and to help you to be able to make better decisions as to what you would like to do. So, the first one we're going to be looking at is the gross profit margin. And that simply equals to your gross profit, which would be your sales less your cost of sales, divided by your revenue or your sales. And the reason why we go into this particular ratio, it helps your organization to make sure that the prices that you are charging are helping to be able to keep your profits high. And if you have increased costs, do you have the ability to be able to pass this on to your customers without hurting your gross profit margin? Bearing in mind that there's only so much of an increased cost that your customers are going to tolerate. And you will see that if your prices become too high and they're no longer competitive, you may see a fall off in the number of sales that you would have had as compared to previous times. So it is vital to be able to analyze this because you don't want a situation where your business is not making enough money to be able to cover the expenses that you have.
Correct.
Yes,
All
we
right.
also want to look
Continue to.
at the
Hmm.
we also want to look at the operating profit margin, which is not very dissimilar. And this basically equals your profit excluding your interest and taxes divided by your revenue or sales. And as I said, it's not necessarily important that you understand technically how it is worked out because you can always Google it or you can check my YouTube channel, Crystal's Corner, to go back over these slides to find out how you would calculate it. It's much more important to understand what it means for your business. So this operating profit margin will show how profits from your core business is doing. And the key point for ratio analysis is not necessarily what the ratio is, but rather how it compares to other ratios. So, for example, let's say that you work out a ratio of 30% for your operating profit. By itself, that may not tell you a whole lot of information. But let's say your operating profit last year was 40%, then you will be able to see if you are doing better or you're doing worse and be able to put things in place to say, you know what was happening last year compared to this year that would have caused my operating profit margin to go down. And once you start doing that analysis, and for many persons, they might want to wholesale blame COVID, you have to look beyond COVID to see if there is something else that would have caused your business to decline. You want to make sure that even if COVID would have happened, what could you have done or put in place to help yourself to recover from that? Because certain things like this can have a very long-term effect. And if you continue to blame something like COVID, if COVID continues to affect us into 2021, how long will your business be able to survive? What will happen
Right.
if you continue to experience declines? And that is why you want to be able to monitor these things. Even if it's every year, every month, I recommend to do it as frequently as possible so that you can catch these declines before they happen. Because you don't want a situation where last year your operating profits were, let's say, 50%, and then this year you see they're 20%. That is a huge drop that you would have had a year of not doing anything about it before you realize that your business is on the decline. So you want to be monitoring these things frequently. You want to be able to ask your advisors or your finance persons what you can do about it. They would have hopefully the intimate knowledge about your business and how you operate to be able to help to give you some kind of guidance. Because these are not things that I would expect anyone to be doing by themselves. But at least now when you're having these conversations and you can even possibly work out these numbers for yourself, you'll be able to say, you know what, this isn't good. Let me talk to some person and see what I can do to help get my business with those numbers coming back up. And it doesn't
Mm.
matter if your
Right.
business is a large business, small business, anything in
Oh,
between, you want to know what these numbers are.
I was going to ask if the size of the business should determine the frequency with which you do it, though.
It doesn't necessarily determine the frequency, it's definitely entirely
Hmm.
up to the persons managing the business. But I do recommend that you look at these numbers if you can on a monthly basis. You have to remember, especially as a smaller business, they're usually able to react to changes a lot faster than a larger organization. So if you're monitoring these things on a regular basis and you start to see a decline, as a smaller business, you're usually in a better position to be able to make a decision to say, you know what, I'm going to do this, so that I
Hmm.
can change the trajectory that my business is heading down. So if you're selling fish and chips and you decide that, you know what, instead of having a big, huge price increase because you're only now realizing you've dropped by so much, you might do a small, gradual increase by 50 cents, which persons may not
Okay.
notice. So you're in a better
Mm.
position to say, let me do a little bit of ease into that price so that you'll be able to recover.
All right. Thank you,
Good advice,
Crystal.
Crystal.
We appreciate that. For sure, Shane. More to come next week because I think we need more of that. You have a beautiful day and week ahead, Crystal.
Thanks so much,
All
and
right.
enjoy your day as well.